Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, while Bitcoin is still looking bearish on the larger time frames, we are now seeing the price of Bitcoin play out this oversold signal here in the short term. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which has just now confirmed this signal, which we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red, indicating a larger bearish trend, or effectively a bearish market that we're seeing at the moment, which I've obviously already been talking about basically every day for a long time now on the channel. I've not flipped once over the last 1 month or so on the larger timeframes. And if we're taking a look at this 2-day Bitcoin chart, it's the same story here as well. We're still trending in the bearish direction, forming lower highs and lower lows. But of course, during this larger bearish trend or bearish market, we can see the occasional bounce back to the upside here and there in the shorter term during the larger bearish trend. And so, of course, on smaller time frames, that can flip between bullish and bearish much more often. But when we're zooming out, we're still currently within the same larger bearish trend that we've been in for months. And as of right now, we still have a lot of support at this massive descending line of support right here, which we've just recently bounced from, which was sitting at roughly around 52,500. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, like I said in my last video, the DXY is now forming a higher low, effectively starting to play out more of a bullish trend here in the DXY, which is a bearish signal for Bitcoin and crypto. And I've talked more about this in recent videos here on the channel, even just my last video just yesterday. I'll talk more about this chart right here. So if you want to know more about this chart, if you're new to the channel, then check out my last video here on the channel. But all you really need to know is that right now with the DXY trending in the more bullish direction, at least for now, that is still a bearish signal to watch out for Bitcoin here on the larger timeframes. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last 1 day or so, we've seen a decent bounce so far from this exact area of support that I've been talking about here on the channel, in between around 51,000 to 53,000. Because obviously, as I've been saying recently here on the channel, even before that latest drop to the downside, back when the price was at around 57 to 58,000, I said if we break below 56,000, expect to move down towards around 51 to 53,000, and then expect to find support around this area. And obviously, over the last few days, that's exactly what we saw. The moment we broke below 56,000, we dropped straight to 53,000 and found support at exactly that area as expected. And so for now, just in the imminent short term during the larger bearish trend, once again, we're currently bouncing from support, and we could potentially continue to see a little bit more of a bounce here in the short term, once again, during the larger bearish trend, because during this bearish trend, we can see the occasional bounce back to the upside during the trend. And the next major area of resistance to watch out for on this chart right here is starting at roughly around 56,000 and going up towards around 57,000. So basically, this previous area of support should now be acting as new resistance if we actually see a further bounce here. Once again, expect resistance around there. And as for these other areas of support and resistance on this chart right here, these areas have not changed over the last 1 day. So if you want to know more about these areas just here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, just over the last 1 day or so, we now officially confirmed that oversold signal here in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which I did mention in my last video here on the channel. And as I said yesterday, we're likely going to see a very slight bounce or slight bullish relief over the next 1 or 2 days, like what we saw back here. And well, we've seen exactly that as expected over the last 1 day just in the short term. Once again, this is all currently occurring during the bearish trend. Because if we're looking at the last time this happened here in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, we did end up seeing a slight bullish relief, a bit of a bounce back to the upside in the short term over the next 1 or 2 days or so. But then ultimately, we remained within the bearish trend with another move to the downside later on. And so in order to expect a larger bullish trend reversal, we need to see a lot of other bullish signals confirm, not just this signal, because obviously this signal by itself does not necessarily result in a bullish trend reversal. And so what is most likely going to happen over the next one day is potentially a slight little relief here in the short term, continuing this oversold signal, possibly over the next one day, especially as we are bouncing from this area of support, but do not necessarily expect a lot of bullish momentum because ultimately we're still within a much larger bearish trend. And as of right now, we still have a lot of resistance further to the upside. And also, oftentimes, we generally speaking see lower volatility over the weekends compared to during the week on the weekdays. So while we're still in the weekend, expect relatively low volatility, possibly a very slight relief or just a sideways consolidation, possibly for the rest of the weekend. And then starting with Monday or Tuesday, we could potentially see a lot more volatility. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means basically if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you may not be able to access Bybit, you can access Bitfinex. So I'll leave a link to Bitfinex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And also, if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use the link below this video, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange if you use that link down below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there, something other than Bybit, one that you can access from another country, for example, there is Bitfinex. Links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. And with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and as of right now, we still have a small amount of liquidity to the downside, starting at around 52,500 and going down towards around 51,500. And as for liquidity to the upside, we do have a small amount sitting at around 54.8k to 55k approximately, so keep that in mind. And other than those areas of liquidity here in the short term, we don't really have a lot of liquidity to either direction until we get all the way back up towards around 57,500 and around 58,500. But obviously those are much higher levels on the Bitcoin price chart. So in order to get back up towards those levels, of course, that would require the price to break out back above this key area of resistance. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, and right now we are seeing a decent bounce, at least so far, from this massive area of support sitting in between around $2,000 to around $2,150 based on previous resistance now acting as new support. And this is also coinciding with this massive ascending line of support that has been support since pretty much the middle of 2022. And right now this ascending line of support is also sitting right at around $2,150. So as of right now, we do have a significant amount of support at roughly around 2.1k give or take. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Ethereum chart, obviously we've also bounced from this golden pocket, which is also coinciding with this support right here on the weekly time frame, because the golden pocket area of support, the most important Fibonacci area on the price chart, is sitting in between 2150 to 2.2k. And if we're looking at where we bounced from just recently, that's pretty much exactly where we saw a bounce from in the price of ETH. And so as I said in my last video, it's actually quite likely here in the short term over the coming days, maybe even for a few weeks, that sort of time frame, it's very likely that we're going to hold this area as support just in the shorter term for the time being, kind of like what we saw just here, holding 2,500 as support. But obviously, just because we're running into major support, that's not enough of a reason to flip bullish on the larger trend. We'd have to see other bullish trend reversal signals actually confirm. So at least for now, I do expect the price to hold this support in the short term for the coming days or weeks, but ultimately we're still within a larger bearish trend, at least for now. And if we're taking a look at this daily time frame over the last 1 day, we have just now confirmed, at least with one candle close, we've just now confirmed this new bullish divergence on the daily Ethereum price chart, because we've now confirmed lower lows in the price in the candle closes, and we've also just confirmed a new higher low in the daily Ethereum RSI with at least one candle close so far in the green. And now ideally, it would be even better if we can see another candle close, a second candle close in the green, which would further confirm the higher low in place in the RSI, because for now, we've only seen a very slight bounce here in the RSI, so only a small amount of confirmation confirming the bullish divergence. And so effectively how that works is the more confirmation that we see, the more confident that we can be in this bullish divergence actually playing out. So for now, we do have some early confirmation with just one candle close, but if we see another green candle confirm here on the daily time frame, that can give us some extra confirmation and extra confidence that this bullish divergence is actually going to play out over the coming days or weeks. And so this is aligning very well so far with the price running into this major area of support right here, which is what I was just talking about. I said it's very likely that we're going to hold this area of support at least for the coming days, maybe over the next few weeks, which could essentially be this bullish divergence playing out over the next few days or weeks. Because what typically happens with a bullish divergence on the daily time frame is either a slight bullish relief or at least a bit of a sideways consolidation. And once again, that usually plays out over at least a few days, often a few weeks if we're talking about the daily time frame. But remember, this alone is not necessarily enough to confirm a bullish trend reversal. So ultimately, it's still possible that we could see a little bit of a relief here in the short term during the larger bearish trends. That is still a possibility. And also, if we're taking a look at the 12-hour time frame, like I said in my last video just yesterday, the 12-hour Ethereum RSI just recently entered into oversold territories, which basically means we due to see a slight bounce, or at least basically a slowdown from the bearish momentum here in the short term. Because as we can see time and time again, when the 12-hour Ethereum RSI enters into oversold territories or gets very close to oversold territories, we can see that that usually results in at least some sort of short-term bounce or even just a sideways consolidation during the larger bearish trend. So once again, this is not a trend reversal signal, but it's a signal telling us just in the short term for the coming days or weeks, we're due to see a slight bounce or a bit of a break from the bearish trend, which can still occur during the trend. And so that's what I'm expecting moving forward for the price of ETH in the shorter term and the longer term, at least as of right now. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, as of right now, the price of Solana is still perfectly finding support around this area of support as expected, sitting in between around 120 to 128. So for now, there's still a lot of buyers buying up Solana in this price range, at least as of right now. But if we were to see a break below 120 with confirmation, so candle closes on the daily time frame below 120, then in that case, the next major area of support to the downside is sitting in between around $100 to $106. But remember, at least for now, we're still finding support in this price range in between 120 to 128. And also, the price of Solana usually follows what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. So for example, if we see a dump in Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana's also likely going to experience a dump, or vice versa. If Bitcoin and Ethereum play out that slight little relief here in the short term, which is what I've been talking about, then we're also likely going to see something similar for the price of Solana just in the short term. But ultimately, at least for now, we do not really have a lot of bullish momentum. So even if we see a very slight bounce from this support, that does not necessarily mean we're going to flip a lot more bullish again. And even if we do see a further bounce back to the upside, we still have a lot of resistance starting at around 138, going up towards around 143. And unlike Bitcoin and Ethereum, the larger trend for Solana, at least for now, while we're holding above 120, is basically a massive sideways price range with relatively horizontal highs and horizontal lows. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.